Here, last 10 years, here's the best records in the NFL in October. New England 1, Green Bay 2, Saints 3, Steelers 4. All have 4 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. By the way, here's who they play this week. New England hosts Indianapolis, win by a rout. Pittsburgh hosts Atlanta, Steelers win. Green Bay will beat Detroit, and New Orleans, Washington Monday, I think, is a potential upset. But I think it's going to be really close. So the best October records are the New England Patriots, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Big Ben. That tells you that September is a warm-up month, an extension of the preseason. Now it gets serious. And with that, D'Angelo Hall's got a great story or two on this game tonight. And I'll tell you what's interesting, that I think D'Angelo knows where I'm going to go with this. Belichick does not like Cleveland. Cleveland fired him. And everybody in the league knows that Belichick hates Cleveland.
Yeah.
He wouldn't send Jimmy Garoppolo there. They were interested. He's like, I'm not sending him to Cleveland. And that some people are you a grudge holder? I'm not a big grudge holder.
I'm not.
I'm not either. But some people are. Joy is very petty.
Yes, that is true.
No, but you know something about the Colts and the Patriots.
Yeah, and I'm not going to divulge any names because I don't want to make anybody upset. I might someday be working for Bill. Who knows? But I do know for a fact that it's two things in New York, which is the Jets, and the Colts. And I don't know if this Colt thing goes back to obviously knowing the path to a Super Bowl and, to an AFC championship was through Indianapolis. It was the whole Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady thing. And for a long time, I was a Peyton guy because Peyton was just so relatable. I remember going to my first Pro Bowl and Peyton, me being a part of Reebok, Peyton just came up to me, D-Hall, what's up? Put his arms around me like he knew me. And here I am, this 22-year-old kid looking around at all these Pro Bowlers like, wow, just mesmerized. And for Peyton to just come grab me and put his arm around me, act like we're homeboys, from that point on, I became the biggest Peyton Manning fan there was. And, I mean, that's why I always pick Peyton over Tom.
I think it's real simple. The Jets turned in Belichick on Spygate, and the Colts turned in the Patriots on Deflategate, and that's why Belichick tells people, Jets and Colts, we hate them both.
But this was even before Deflategate was the Colts thing.
They just don't like him.
He just told his guys, look. And so when Josh did not go to Indianapolis, I kind of knew where that came from because
I was sticking it to the Colts.
Yeah, that was kind of like, no, we're going to, and I don't know what changed in that whole dynamic, but
I love New England tonight.
Yeah,
Big.
I do too.
I think they're going to thump the Colts. And I really like a lot about the Colts, but the Colts won't even, when you watch the game tonight, they won't even pretend they have a running game. When you ask your quarterback to throw 62 times out of 75 snaps, and by the way, of the other running plays, Andrew Luck had 3 of those running plays. The Colts are a completely one-dimensional team at this point, and T.Y. Hilton, their one passing dimension deep, won't play. I think it's a complete blowout, and I'm not supposed to say that because it's on Fox. It'll be a good game, but it'll be ugly. So here's the thing. This is about the 15th time I've heard Aaron Rodgers doesn't get along with somebody, okay? And he and McCarthy, I have it sourced multiple times through the years. They're not best buds. They don't, like Belichick and Brady until recently
Yeah, we thought they were close.
So what do you make of McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers? Because I'm tired of picking on Aaron, so you tell me what you think.
The big misconception in pro sports is that we all have to be best friends. And so for me, I don't really care if they are best friends or if they enjoy hanging out outside of football, because they really don't need to. All they need to do is agree on a game plan, implement that game plan, and figure out what's the best way to win football games. And for the most part, those guys have been pretty good at doing that. They haven't aired a lot of their dirty laundry, even if they've never been friends. And so for me, being in a locker room, it's some guys that I didn't like in that locker room personally, but it didn't interfere with my ability to help either line them up or put them in position to make plays, and vice versa for myself.
So let's say you're in a locker room and there's 5 or 6 guys you just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, why don't you like them? Let's get personal here.
It's just little things that they do.
Like what?
Maybe they don't take the game serious enough. Maybe in practice when I feel like you should be worrying about X, Y, Z, you're worried about something else. And, I mean, that tends to be a lot of the noise
friction
in a locker room or friction is because it means more to you than that guy.
That's a really good point.
And if you can see that, everyone else can see that as well.
Tony Gonzalez told me, he said 3% of the league is completely, absolutely committed, that wants to be great.
Yeah.
Like literally players want to be superstars. Tony's like, I wanted to be a superstar. And he said, you would be shocked at the number of guys who are just taking a check.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be a star.
Yeah, absolutely.
And guys drove you crazy when they weren't committed.
They did. And as you mature and you grow in the league or in whatever respective sports you play, what's important to you tends to change. Because at first I was labeled a me guy. All I wanted to do was make Pro Bowls and make plays. But as I continued to do those things and still didn't feel as though I was getting the amount of respect as guys who were winners were getting, then I was like, well, maybe it's not just about my own stats and Pro Bowls and this. I got to be a part of something.
Right.
And as you continue to grow and mature in whatever sport you're in, you'll learn that. And so, I used to tell my young guys all the time when I used to get up and talk to rookies, I used to tell them, hey, look, it's dudes playing this league for money. It's dudes that play for fame. It's dudes that play because they want, good-looking girls.
Right.
And so regardless what you play for, it's dudes that play for the back of the name on the back of their jersey. Regardless what you play for, prepare and treat it as if it's a job because you won't go wrong. You always heard the old saying, you can't get money chasing girls, but you can get girls chasing money. And so that's kind of the comparison, Joe. Like if you ball and you're doing your job the right way and you're playing this game the right
an aholic. I'm a workaholic. It's better than an alcoholic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aholics out there. You might, if you're going to be one, be a workaholic because at least it'll take care of your family.
Uh-huh.
You'll have good health care. You'll have good education for your kids.
Yep.
So Drew Brees is, Joy and I think, is probably the most underrated quarterback kind of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
And this Monday he'll set a bunch of records on Monday Night Football. You faced the early Saints Breeze when you were a Falcon. What do you remember about it?
I tell you what, we were part of, I guess, what started as the legacy of Drew Brees. I mean, he had a pretty good career in San Diego, but obviously they had Phillip Rivers and Waiting.
Right.
And so, he had to go somewhere else. A lot of people didn't want to take a chance on him, and New Orleans takes a chance on him. Him and Sean Payton, I think, has one of the greatest relationships in all the sports. It seems as though that's the case with those two guys. They seem to always be on the same page. But my Atlanta Falcons team, we were undefeated the year they opened back up the Superdome. Post-Katrina. It was the first game of the season back in that place.
Oh, good God.
Oh, man. You talking about the perfect storm. They had just drafted Reggie Bush.
That was the punt block.
That was the punt block by Sean Gleason.
Yes.
Yes. And so, yes, we knew at that point that tandem of Sean Payton and Drew Brees was going to win a lot of games because we saw just the atmosphere, the camaraderie those guys had.
Yeah.
Steve Gleason,
yeah.
Yeah, and just the way that team rallied behind Drew. Like quarterbacks aren't in the middle of team huddles breaking it down, getting the guys hype. It's part of what we all like about Baker is because he can be that kind of guy. But Drew, I don't know if it's because he played in a small market. I don't know if it's because all the other quarterbacks who were great around the same time that Drew played or what. But, yeah, he's one of the most underrated players I think that has ever played the game, not just quarterback.
You know what I also think? There's Trent Dilfer always calls it a dude quality. He's a dude.
Yeah,
like there's certain guys. Like I never thought guys wouldn't want to hang out with Jay Cutler. Nothing against Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
He's not really. I don't think he's a guy that you'd want to. Hey, what do you want to do tonight? Let's go to Jay's. He's not really that kind of guy. Like Drew Brees, the guy. If he called you up and said, "Dude, 4 of us, we're going out New Orleans. We're going to go knock down a couple cocktails, have some oysters." You'd be like, "This is gonna be a fun night."
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down with that. Drew Brees wants to go out and have oysters. Wouldn't that be a great call from Drew Brees? What do you do tonight? Want to have some oysters?
Do you like oysters?
I grew up on the beach.
I love oysters, man. If you're in New Orleans, you got to hit Dragos, man. You ever had Dragos in New Orleans?
I've been to a lot of places in New Orleans.
Oh, char-grilled oysters.
Oh.
The best in the world.
Great food city. You're going to gain weight, go down to New Orleans. Don't go down there long. Couple days, you put on 8 pounds, get on a flight and come home. D'Angelo Hall, good seeing you. Hour number 3 in Los Angeles, around the corner, just getting started today. It is The Herd.